Good morning. I'm Junior from Here For You Life Coaching, and we are going to talk about mindset coaching. Okay, we talk about mindset every morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, Hawaii time. Welcome, you guys. We're on 7 platforms, and we'd like to say aloha from Hawaii, and we're just getting adjusted here. Here we go. So, now, what is the difference between wealth and poverty? Ralph Waldo Emerson said that poverty consists of feeling poor. Okay? Now, when you feel poor, what happens? These feelings translate into your subconscious, and your subconscious starts learning poverty. Your subconscious starts feeling poverty. And when that happens, your subconscious begins replicating circumstances of poverty. Let me say it again. When you start feeling poor, let's say this another way. When you start feeling poor, your subconscious will learn to feel poor, and it will replicate the feeling. And you'll keep feeling poor until you learn how to feel wealthy. Now, what's the difference between rich and wealthy? A few commas. How do you get there? Through your feelings. Okay? Now, people who are educated can become wealthy. People who are not educated can become wealthy. Smart people can become wealthy. Stupid people can become wealthy. Have you ever seen somebody who's not that bright? Have you ever seen somebody who just acts ridiculous, but they have tons and tons of money, and money comes to them effortlessly, easily? Okay, write this affirmation. Where's my pen? I found my pen. Okay, found my pen from yesterday. This is my favorite pen. Came all the way from Japan. Okay, so, right, we're gonna write an affirmation. I am so happy and grateful now that money comes easily, plentifully, and quickly. Thank you. There you go. Now you have to feel that. You have to put emotion behind it. So when you write it, first of all, pretend that you're excited. I did this years and years and years ago. And I had to be excited about it. So how do you be excited about it? You act as if. So first of all, right? Good morning, Jay. First of all, right? You just pretend like you're so happy. Wow, like this is so cool. And you're writing your affirmation. And then you do it again, okay? You do it again tomorrow, and you do, wow, this is so cool. Like, I love this affirmation. This is really gonna work for me. What are you doing? You are teaching your subconscious to feel. Because the opposite end of that is if you feel that you're not doing anything when you're writing the affirmation, it's pointless. It's useless. In other words, you're not believing what it is you're writing. What's the formula? Ask, believe, receive. You have to believe in your asking. It's in all the holy books. Every single holy book. Every single mystical book. The Bible is a mystical book, by the way. You have to believe in your asking. So what are you asking for? Take a look at what you're asking for. Most people ask small. That's their problem. They don't ask enough. Why? Because they've been taught humility in the wrong way. Humility is not less than. You are not less than anyone. You are made in the image of God. You are not made less than God. If you are made in the image, in the likeness, like, then you are a co-creator with God. And it's important to get that idea into your subconscious. Because unless you do, I know people that go to church. I know people that go to temple. I know that people who say, oh, I believe in God, I believe in God, I believe in God. But they don't believe in themselves. Some of them worship every Sunday. And that's another problem. They're worshiping on Sunday instead of Saturday. But the biggest problem is they don't believe in themselves. God lives in here. God lives in here. If you're going to a church, if you're going to a temple, if you're going to worship a deity that you believe is responsible for your good fortune, and your heart isn't in your asking, and your heart isn't in your praise and worship, all you're doing is wasting your time. That's the only thing you're doing. Because you're sitting there, but you're not present. You're sitting there asking. And the pattern is like ask, doubt, ask, doubt, ask, doubt. Because in your mind, you're going, okay, I want that new car. And then your second thought is, that probably won't happen. But no, I'm going to ask God. Come on, God, please, please, God, please. And if you're praying like that, I don't care if you're praying to God, Jesus Christ, Allah, I don't care who you're praying to. If you're praying like that, you're begging. If you're begging, you're coming from lack. If you're praying like a mouse, you're going to get what mice get, small little morsels. Pray like a lion. Pray like a co-creator. Pray like God is your tag team partner. Because God is your partner. You're a co-creator with God. Or let's say it another way. You are a co-creator with infinite intelligence, with that energy that's in here, because God lives in here. God lives in each individual. When you see it in scriptures and it says we are all one, you can interpret it as mankind. But we all have one thing in common. There's 8 billion of us. We have one thing in common. That energy in here. We have different traits. No two out of the 8 billion are alike. No two, even twins. They're different. They're just a little different, even identical twins. They might look alike, but they are a little different. And everyone has their blessings. Everyone has their gifts, their natural gifts. What are you really good at? Think about it. What are you really, really good at? Something that comes really, really easy. Some people are really, really good at making money. Why? Because they believe they are. You have to believe in the asking. You have to believe in the process. You have to believe in the kingdom, and the kingdom is within. The kingdom is in here. When I built my first company, Imua Productions, it's no longer in existence. But when I built my first company, I didn't know what I was doing. I had no idea what I was doing. Did it work? Yeah, it worked. I don't know how it worked. The how is God's job. I didn't even know how. I did not know how. I just said, we're going to do a production company, and I'm going to do radio and television commercials, and I'm going to do jingles, and I'm going to do, we evolved into an online service for On hold service for hotels, where you say, press 1 for this, press 2 for that, whatever. We did that. And everything just evolved as we went. Do you have problems? Slow down. Do you have obstacles? Slow down. What happens when you slow down? It kind of evens out. It kind of goes away. It kind of takes shape into something manageable, doesn't it? Right? When you slow down and you have some patience. But when you start making decisions, and if you make decisions in a panic, guess what happens? You put the wrong kind of energy into that. And then guess what happens? Another problem. Yeah. See? Life is not that much to figure out, really. If you're doing something within the system, that's different. In other words, if you want to become a doctor, there's a medical system. There's the medical industrial complex. Don't get me started on that, but there's a system. If you want to be a pharmacist, there's a system. If you want to be a plumber, there's a system. An electrician, there's a system. You must learn those systems. If you want to start a business, you create your own system or your own ecosystem. My family of service companies is an ecosystem. It didn't start out that way. It started with a production company. That's all I knew. Okay, we're going to produce commercials. That's all we're going to do. And then after that, I got tired of my job. I resigned. I took a part-time job. I resigned my full-time job, took a part-time job, and I said, okay, we are going to start the school. And we started the school in 1989, and that was the second company. It was called Voicemaster Singing School. You can look it up. It's a thing. It became Voicemaster Vocal Development, which is what it is today. Different mission to accommodate the digital age, because people are online. They're speaking on YouTube, but they're not speaking with authority. They're speaking on Facebook, but they're not speaking with authority. They're not coming from their authentic voice. They're coming from, I hope this goes over well. I see a lot of people with good intentions out there speaking their truth. But unless you can speak your truth with conviction, unless you can speak your truth with purpose, unless you can speak your truth with some sort of solid base that comes from in here, not here, in here, in here, then you need to learn. I had to learn. But that was something that interested me. Not everybody wants to learn. Not everybody wants to do what I did. But if you want to be an electrician, just know that you can. You can be an apprentice. You can find somebody who's an electrician and say, hey, can I hang out? Can you show me? Not everyone will show you. There's two kinds of people in the world, to me. One, the one who becomes successful and he kicks the ladder out from under him, that imaginary ladder of success, kicks it out from under him, doesn't tell anybody the secrets, and he takes everything to the grave. That's the first kind of person. The second kind of person finds the successful way, or finds a method to be successful in his field, or finds some sort of leverage, trade secrets, if you want to say it that way. And he accumulates all of this knowledge. And then he looks down the ladder and he goes, hey guys, come on. I know how to do this. I'll show you. Come on, let's do this. And he pulls people up the ladder. I've been pulling people up the ladder my entire adult life. Even when I wasn't successful yet, even when I was just starting, every step of the journey, I took people with me. Why is that important? It's important because you not only learn what you're doing, you learn how to help people. And you see what they're doing, and they might do it a little different than you, and you go, oh, I never thought of that. You see, you learn from them. I learned so much from the people that I took with me. I learned so much from my employees that I took with me. My subcontractors that I took with me. I learned so much from them. So not only do you benefit from pulling someone up the ladder and helping someone and educating someone and sharing with someone, you learn from them. Because everyone has something to offer. Because everyone has their own blessings, their own life path, and their own talents. And you draw from everything because your subconscious is always listening. All you have to do is put my name in a browser and put quotes on the end of that. Or put my name in the browser, any browser, and put teaching method. And it will say that I say this. Because it's true. Not because it's a crazy idea. Although I get many crazy ideas. And I act on all my crazy ideas. And that's how my companies were formed. Most of them, crazy ideas. Why? Because when I wanted to start my consultant company in 2010, one of these guys that I knew, he goes, dude, that's crazy. That doesn't work like that. Because I didn't know how. And I told him I didn't know how. And he goes, dude, that's crazy. That doesn't work like that. And my very first client was a national chain of retail stores in Hawaii. I'm in Hawaii. I'm in Honolulu, Hawaii. And where did I find my client? Oh yeah, in my singing school. I never had to leave the office, but I didn't know. I had no idea that the district manager's wife was one of our clients. I had no idea. And I told that story before, so I'm not going to tell that story today. But the reason why I'm saying this to you is because everybody's trying to figure out how. That's not your job. Your job is not to figure out how. Your job is to figure out what you want to do, why you want to do this, and how it's going to benefit others. Think about that. Many people only think about themselves. Well, I'm going to do this and then, so I can make a lot of money. If money is your motivation, think again. If money is your motivation, you haven't thought thoroughly enough. If money is the only way you think you can get something, you're suffering from limited thinking. Don't make money your motivation. Money is an energy, but it's an inanimate object. It has no heartbeat. It has no pulse. It has no feelings. Focus on people. Focus on the things you love. Focus on the people you love. When you focus on the things you love and the people you love, all the things that you love will come to you. All the people you love will support you. Why? Because you're loving them. when you love someone, love is a strength. Love is a strength. When you support someone, you're loving them. It's a strength. When you love someone, you're giving them the best part of yourself. It doesn't matter whether it's the gardener. It doesn't matter whether it's your husband, your boyfriend, your wife. It doesn't matter. Friends, besties, doesn't matter who. It just matters that you love. You know, the thing that cracks me up the most is that a lot of people think love is a weakness. I'm like, what? Love is a weakness? Love is a strength. And you have to be strong to love. Because when bad things happen to good people, you have to be strong enough to love them through it. Bad things do happen. Bad circumstances happen. But when you can love someone through something like that, you know, when someone's in the hospital going through a treatment, when you can love someone through that, when you can show them love and compassion and empathy, it empowers them to get through it. That's how you empower somebody. Human beings don't require handouts. You can't live someone else's life for them. You can advise them. But when you show them love, when you give them love, I'm not talking about the Valentine's Day kind of love. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about the commercial. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about your support. I'm talking about your positivity. I'm talking about your highest emotion, love. Your highest form of positivity, love. When you do that, it makes the journey so much better. It empowers people. Love empowers people. Hate, envy, all of that, you know, jealousy, it disempowers people. It takes the wind out of their sails. It makes them weak. How do you shield yourself from jealousy? How do you shield yourself from envy? Love. That's why they say love can conquer all. So how do you practice love? Speak it. Remember last week when I was talking about love and I said speak love? You know, because you can say I like that, or you can say I love that. Doesn't that have a better vibe? I'll say it again. I like that. I love that. You see how love has a better vibe? You see? So when you see a car you like, say, I love that car. When you see a dog you like, oh, I love that dog. Practice. Practice. Why? Because it goes into your subconscious. Write it down. Write it down. I am so happy and grateful now that I love that dog. Or I love my dog. I am so happy and grateful now that I love my mother. Thank you. I am so happy and grateful now that I love my father. Thank you. I am so happy and grateful now that I love my sisters. Love my brothers. Love my car. Love my whatever. Love. You know, some people tell me about tough love. Oh, we're going to give him some tough love. Love in itself is tough. Love in itself is strong. Love in itself is empowering. Love is a strength. When you give something love, right? Your love energy, the highest emotion possible. When you're kind to somebody, when somebody's struggling and you give them some love, you're not being weak, you're being strong. Because you have to have love to give. If you don't have any love in here, the kingdom is in here, okay? God lives in here. God is love, but you have to tap into it. A lot of people have God in them, but they don't acknowledge it. A lot of people have God in them, but they don't see it, they don't feel it. A lot of people have God in them, but they don't understand and they don't believe in it. They don't believe it, they don't believe in God. Every once in a while, I have clients that don't believe in God. I have to organize the way I teach them to respect their beliefs. But the miracle is in here. The miracle is in there. How do you bring that miracle out? Love. Love that miracle out. It's a strength. It's the ultimate flex. Love. And until you do this, until you're brave enough to start loving everything, you will never feel one with everything. So when Jesus said, "Seek and ye shall find," Jesus was talking about in here. You don't seek out there. It's not like hide and go seek. It's not like that. You want to play hide and go seek? Good luck. Good luck in finding what you need for your life. You need to seek in the kingdom. That's why Jesus said, "Seek first the kingdom of God, and all else will be added unto you." But first you have to acknowledge what's in here. The kingdom is in here. I spent 30 years with a blind man. 30 years. Playing music with a blind man, with a musical genius. My best friend. And about 2 or 3 years into when we were practicing and performing, it bothered me that he didn't know what I looked like. You know? And then it dawned on me after that, like about the 4th, 5th year that I knew him. I go, oh, he doesn't need to know what I look like, because he can feel what I look like. He can feel me, which is more important than seeing me. Why? Because so many people have eyes, but they look away from the kingdom. And the kingdom is in here. He didn't have eyes. He had eyes they couldn't see. And he became a genius on the piano. He couldn't see. And all he had was the kingdom. Because there was no distraction, there was no visual distraction. Because he had the kingdom. He was in the kingdom. We have eyes that look out there. We have eyes that seek solutions. There are things that are made of the kingdom, and there are things that are made in the physical world. And the universal law of correspondence says whatever we think in the kingdom, or whatever we are in the kingdom is displayed out here in the physical world. So if your life is a mess out here, it's because it's not organized in here. The prison is here. A lack of discipline here is reflected with a lack of discipline here. If you're not disciplined here, all that means is you can't get a hold of yourself here. Why is this important? Because if you can see things here in the physical, if you look at your house and you, God, this place is a mess. Start here. Start here. Start getting organized here. Because you can clean that house and clean that house and clean that house, and guess what? The day after you clean the house, it starts getting messy again. The next day it gets more messy. The next week it gets more messy. And pretty soon you're back where you started before you cleaned the house. Why? Because you didn't fix this one. You did not address the real problem. The prison is here. You know, the people who can't help themselves, they just have to do drugs, or they have to do whatever it is they have to do. They have addictions. Some people are addicted to donuts. Oh, I love donuts. And then they have this compulsion for donuts. They have this obsession with donuts, whatever. It could be ice cream, doesn't matter what it is. Where is the compulsion? The compulsion is not in the bakery. It's not at the ice cream parlor. It's in here. How do you get rid of it? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. Is it difficult to do? No. How long does it take to do this? About 63 days. You know, it's really funny. The majority of people will not write an affirmation for 63 days in a row. This right here looks crazy to the average person. I'll show you. This is one of my completed ones, right? This looks crazy. See, looks crazy. Why? Because most people don't do it. Okay? But this is how you train your subconscious. This is how you give your subconscious directions. If you want organization, start with one of these. This is why they say the pen is mightier than the sword. If you take one of these and somebody has a sword and you try to fight them like this, good luck. But when you use one of these and you start writing your affirmations, you start to change this one. And instead of a prison, this becomes a powerhouse. Instead of a prison where thoughts go in circles, where fear is an everyday thing because everything scares you now, because the subconscious learns, right? It learns in repetition, and then it repeats in programming. I don't care what kind of therapy you're taking. If you're not adding these things to your therapy, it's going to take a long, long time. Because you can help yourself. So many people, I don't make medical claims. I have to say this before I say my next statement. But it's true. Many people that come to see me, they break free of therapy. They don't go back to therapy. Why? Because they discover their power. We live in a system. The system, one of the goals of the system is to keep us thinking we're less than. You know the "He is greater than I" t-shirts that religions use? You know, He is greater than I. He is I. I is in here. He is in here. But yet they make you wear the t-shirt. Why? So that you feel less than. Because if you feel less than, you'll keep coming. You'll keep buying more products. You'll keep telling everybody, oh, okay, he's greater than I. And now you're going to start to prove it, to show it. And what did it say in Matthew? It says, don't be seen in the synagogues and the churches. Pray in your closet. Where's your closet? No, it's not where you hang clothes. Your closet is here. The same place the prison is, right here. But everybody thinks that the Bible means pray in private. That's not what it's talking about. That's not the esoteric meaning. Your church isn't going to tell you that. Why? Because then you won't need them. They want you to need them. Otherwise, they don't make money. It's a 501c3 for a reason. It's a business. It's a corporation. It's a non-profit corporation, but it's a corporation. Do you need the corporation? Not really. Is church good? Yeah, there's a lot of good things about church. Thank you. Thank you. There's a lot of good things about church. It's nice to be around like-minded people, but you don't need them. You don't need anything. Why? Because need is coming from lack. You are God-made. You are not man-made. Religion is man-made. Churches are man-made. Synagogues are man-made. Congregations are man-made. Groups of people gathering could be God's influence, right? But the institution is man-made. There's man-made and there's God-made. There's the body and the spirit. And until you understand the spirit part of it, you're going to be distracted by the body, by the physical, instead of the spiritual. The spiritual lives in here. The spirit is free. But it's free in the kingdom. The kingdom is in here. The kingdom is inside the body. There is no he is greater than I. He is I. I is in here. He is in here. Stop buying into the commercialism. And the funny thing is they have to pay for these t-shirts. They have to pay for these t-shirts that program them. It's not the most popular thing to point out, by the way. But when you understand things from an energetic level, when you understand that when you first seek the kingdom first, right? And the kingdom is in here, that you don't go looking out there. Your eyes are for other things. Your eyes pull you into different realities. That's called distraction. When you get distracted away from the kingdom. When you're in here, you get distracted into something else. It doesn't matter where you are in here. It could be in a store. It could be on one of these platforms that we're broadcasting on this morning. It could be just texting your friend, but now you're in that world. Now you're in that conversation. What you're saying is, I am that. I am that. It's identifying. So when you identify with a profession, you identify as the carpenter. I am the carpenter. You identify with the carpenter. Pretty soon people are starting to say, oh, you know Joe the carpenter? Oh, you know Joe, he's a good carpenter. You know Joe the carpenter down the street, the carpenter. Oh, yeah, we know Joe. Now Joe is being identified with the carpenter. But what about Joe? What about Joe inside Joe? What about this Joe? The Joe in the kingdom, the Joe that exists in the kingdom. Because this is all we have in common. This is what we have in common. All of us have it. All of us have the kingdom. The kingdom is not something you get to when you die. The kingdom is something you enjoy while you're here. These things just do things for you. You know, I'm making them move right now. See? I can make them freeze like that. I can make them move like that. I can make them do all kinds of things. I can make them play my guitar. I can make them pick up a glass of water because I'm thirsty. I can make them do all kinds of stuff, right? You can too. But what about you? What about the I? What about the I am that you are? What about that? If you're too grounded in the calendar, if you're too grounded in the clock, if you're too grounded in the relationship, or let's say involved in the drama, in the good times, but just in that, then you've identified with that. And then that is your portion. If you stop identifying with physical things and systematic things, you free yourself. Why? Because now you just are, which is the meaning of I am. God identifies himself to Moses as I am. Tell the people of Israel that I am sent you. God spoke the world into existence. Can you speak things into existence? Sure you can. Absolutely. Try it. It's called your subconscious. It's not witchcraft. It's the highest form of intelligence on the planet. And like I always say, if you want to see a miracle, go in the bathroom, turn on the light, look in the mirror, there you are. You have a choice. You can attract the things you want into your life. It's not magic. It's not magic. It's not even intense concentration or focus. It's not even that. It's allowing. It's allowing the kingdom to work. Because your free will is dictating all these extenuating circumstances without your knowledge. Your free will is pulling you here, pulling you there, pulling you there. You get that feeling to turn right over here, but your free will pushes it away, ignores it. And you continue down the road, and then you get stuck in the traffic jam, and what do? You go, I knew I should have turned. Yeah, you did know. You did know, but you're not paying attention to the kingdom. You're not listening to the kingdom. You're not paying attention to the kingdom. And then there's those people that, say, well, I'm not sensitive. That's for sissies. Really? When you start paying attention to what's in the kingdom, when you start paying attention to intuitive thought, when you start acting on your crazy ideas, you're going to get ahead in life. And getting ahead does not always mean money. Getting ahead is like having an easier life, making decisions that make things smooth for you, effortless for you, making decisions that will, bring you things. It's not about money or material things. It can be. Nothing's wrong with money. Worshipping money is bad. Why is it bad? Because instead of focusing on the kingdom, you're focusing on an inanimate object. It doesn't have a heartbeat. It doesn't have desires. It has no feelings. It's just a piece of paper. And that piece of paper, whose value is perception, because it fluctuates, it's all perception. And you're going to put that above you? You're going to put that above someone else, another human being? You're going to put that up here to worship, to kowtow to? You ever see people that do that with credit cards? You give them a credit card or a bank card and they hold it like this. And then they process your payment and then they pick it up and they go like this to you. Like it was some kind of God. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, but they do it. Why? Because they're putting it up here. They're placing it above all else. A comedian once told me, he said, it's about money or it's about nothing. And now he's a politician. And I'm like, okay. So far, so good. But when you make money your focal point, when you make money your God, when you make your bank account your God, you've disconnected yourself from the kingdom. Why? Because instead of putting your faith here, because God is in here, the kingdom is in here, and this is what you should seek first, you're putting your faith in the bank account that earns a little interest. You're putting your faith in the bank account that has a few measly Federal Reserve notes in it. Even if it was gold, same thing. Gold doesn't have a heartbeat. It's nice to have. Can you do without it? Sure. Is there a value assigned to it? Yeah, there is. But under the right circumstances, this ring is worth a ham sandwich. You see? What are you going to do? You're going to eat your gold? You're going to eat your $100 bills? No. Then why would you put your faith in it? Why would you base your life on it? Put your faith in people. Invest in people. How do you do that? Give them love. When you give them love, when you give a person love, they become loving. When they become loving, you get the butterfly effect. Because the next person that comes in contact with them, do you think they're going to get anger or love? They're going to get love if they're feeling love, right? And that's how you pass it on. Part of my business model in my school and in my life coaching is to give extra time. Why is that important? Because your time is your life. Anybody can throw money at a charity. Anybody can throw money at something. But if you believe in what you're doing, if you believe in what you know, if you believe in what you do, then spend some time to share the details with people. Spend some time of your life and dedicate it to sharing. Spend some of your life to fixing the problem. In Hawaii, we have these groups of people that go to the beaches, they clean the beaches. They didn't throw money at a nonprofit and let the nonprofit clean the beach, although some do. But they get involved, they go down and they donate some of their life to removing rubbish from the beach. That's worth a lot more and says a lot more than throwing money at a charity and letting them do it. Get involved. Get involved with your community. Get involved with your heritage. Get involved with things. Spend some time on it. Share yourself with what you believe in. Share some of your life with what you believe in. Thank you, Leo. Thank you. When you share your time, you're sharing your life. When you're sharing your life, you're making your life better. Because nothing works one way in the universe. It just doesn't. Whatever you're giving, you're getting. Because your subconscious is always listening. Your subconscious knows when you give something. And it's impossible to give and not receive. It's impossible. There's a back end to everything. It's impossible to be generous and not to receive. It's impossible to be kind and not receive kindness. If you want something, give it first. When you start looking at things as energy, the energy in here, life changes. The word namaste means the divinity in me salutes the divinity in you. Because Krishna taught that the kingdom was in here. Gautama Buddha taught that the kingdom was in here. Jesus Christ was the last one who told us the kingdom is in here. They're all saying the same thing. Seek first the kingdom, and all else will be added unto you. So if you're not believing in yourself, you're not believing in the kingdom. You're not a part of the kingdom. If you don't believe in yourself, if you're denying yourself, you live in here, you live in the body. There's a separation between the body and the spirit. If you're denying yourself, if you're not confident with yourself, if you have low self-esteem, you're denying the kingdom. I know tons of people that go to churches, tons of people that go to temples, that go to congregations, that have no faith in themselves. So what are they doing? They're wasting their time. Why? Because it's working against itself. You can't say, I believe, and then not believe in you. You can't say, I'm a believer, and then not believe in you. Because God lives in you. God is a part of you, if you acknowledge it. Otherwise, you're wasting your time looking good in the church, in the synagogue, in the temple, because you really don't believe in your asking. You really don't believe in your prayer. And that's exactly why you're not receiving what you're praying for. because you're not going in here. You're going over there. When you go to a synagogue, you're going over there to the synagogue. When you're going to the temple, you're going to the temple. When you go into the kingdom, you close your eyes and you just be. And so many people don't even have the confidence to sit still for 10 minutes and enjoy the kingdom. They're running from the kingdom. They can't sit still. They can't face what's in the kingdom. They can't face it. They look in the mirror, they can't stand what they see. They just look in the mirror to check their hair, to make sure their shirt is on right. Whatever. They can't face themselves. They live in here. The kingdom is in here. If you can't face the kingdom, if you can't be comfortable in the kingdom, you're always running. You're always running. Oh, let's go over there. People are being busy doing nothing. They're being busy, but not being productive at all. Oh, let me go over here. We're going to go over here. We're going to have a meeting over here. We're going to have a church service over here. We're going to have a synagogue meeting over there. We're going to do temple over here. We're going to do a bond dance over there. And it's always like this. It's always like this, away from the kingdom. The love is in here. The love is not out there. There is love from others out there. But if they don't love in here, you're not going to get it from them either. If they're like you and you don't have that love in here, you're not in touch with the love in here, and you expect to receive it from them that are the same like that, there's no love being exchanged. There's superficial happiness being exchanged. There's like, oh, hi, hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going? There's nothing there. It's empty. It's void. In the Bible, there's a term for it. Tohu vohu. Look it up. Fact check me. The void where nothing is. Tohu vavohu. Which is the condition the world was in before the Word. Before God spoke the world into existence. Thank you, Jane. Thank you, I. Cooper. Love your profile pic. Please, God, save me from the righteous. Yeah, there you go. Right? Yeah, exactly. All right. Hey, it's time for us to go. Thank you, Jay. Thank you for moderating. We're on 7 different platforms every morning at 7 a.m. This is my community service. See Jay's just see you tomorrow. Okay, so I just got the hand from Jay. But anyway, we're going to break free of our international platform on can I say? Oh, I can't say it yet. So aloha and love from